You brought up something real, something that actually mattered. And he made a joke. Everyone laughed. You laughed too. And then the conversation was over. Not because he was cruel, because he was funny. And now you are sitting here wondering if you are the problem for wanting more. This is not about men who are bad at feelings. It is about men who are brilliant at avoiding them. The joke is not a failure of communication. It is a masterpiece of control. A single well-timed punchline can derail a conversation faster than an argument ever could. It leaves no wounds. It leaves no evidence. It just leaves you holding the weight you tried to hand over. You have seen this happen 100 times. You sit down to talk. You have rehearsed the words in your head for days. You want to be calm. You want to be fair. You want to finally say what has been sitting in your chest for months. And before you get through the second sentence, he does something that makes you smile. He says something clever. He mimics someone you both know. He turns your serious moment into a bit. And the bit is good. He is good. You laugh because you love him, and because the laugh is easier than the fight you were about to start. The conversation ends. The topic never returns. And you are the one who feels stupid for bringing it up in the first place. Here is what you need to know. The humor is not diffusing tension. It is replacing the conversation entirely. And this is not something he does to you. It is something he does to protect himself from that kind of closeness. From being seen. From being known. From being asked who he actually is when he is not performing. The observation is simple. You can name it now. In moments when the conversation shifts toward emotional weight, vulnerability, conflict, or personal need, he introduces a joke, a pun, an impression, a playful tease, a comedic exaggeration. The joke lands, the mood lightens, and the original topic is gone. Not aggressively shut down, not denied, just gone. And this is where the misreading happens. You look at this behavior and you tell yourself something generous. He is just diffusing tension because he cares. He does not want things to get heavy. He is protecting the mood, protecting you, protecting the relationship from becoming something difficult. This is the thought you carry into the moment, not a verdict you form after. A belief you hold before, a belief that sounds so reasonable it never gets questioned. The reaction follows naturally. You let the joke land. You laugh. You do not push the original topic again in that moment because pushing would mean you missed the joke. You would be humorless. You would be making it weird. You wait for a better time. A better time never comes. And over time, the relationship becomes full of laughter and empty of revelation. You know his bits. You do not know his fears. You know his comedic timing. You do not know what he actually thinks about you. The surface is warm. The depth is locked. And you are left with the slow erosion of trust that comes from never being truly known. There is a specific moment where this pattern becomes visible. Think about what you actually know about him. Not his opinions, not his work stories, not his favorite movies. Think about what he actually thinks of you, what he actually feels when he looks at you, what he is afraid of, what he wanted as a kid, what keeps him up at night. You probably cannot answer those questions. Not because you have not asked, because the answers never came. They were replaced by a joke you remember, a joke you have told other people because it was so funny. But the answer to your question never arrived. And here is the part that hurts. You start to wonder if you are the problem. Maybe you are too serious. Maybe you are asking for too much. Maybe this is actually fine and you are the one who is broken. This is not a small side effect. This is the main injury. The deflection works so well that the person on the receiving end begins to doubt their own need for depth. They start to see their own vulnerability as a burden. They start to apologize for wanting to know someone they have been sleeping next to for years. So why does he do it? The cause is not cruelty, it is terror. The joke is not about the topic, the joke is about the self. Emotional intimacy requires being seen. Being seen requires vulnerability. Vulnerability requires risking that someone might not like what they see. And for a man who has built his entire social identity around being funny, around being entertaining, around being the guy who makes everyone feel better, the idea of showing up without the armor of a punchline is unbearable. He does not know who he is without the laugh. He has never tested whether he is acceptable just as he is. So he performs. He performs for you. He performs for his friends. He performs for his family. And he has been performing so long that he no longer knows there is a person underneath. The joke is the ejector seat. It gets him out before the exposure happens. It gives him control over the emotional temperature of the room. He decides when things get too warm. He decides when to cool them down. He decides what is discussed and what is not. And he does it with a smile. No conflict, no raised voice, no slammed door, just a perfectly timed laugh, and the topic evaporates. There is something deeper here, something that goes beyond the relationship and into the structure of how he experiences the world. For him, humor is not a way of connecting. It is a way of managing. It is a way of controlling proximity. When someone gets too close, he pushes them back with a joke. When someone asks too much, he answers with a punchline. When someone tries to see him, he shows them a mask. He shows them a mask so entertaining they stop looking for the face behind it. You have probably tried to bring things up again. You have probably tried a different tone, a softer approach, a more direct approach. You have probably written letters you never sent. And every time you try, you get the same result. A joke, a deflection, a sudden urgent need to fix something in the other room. And with each reattempt, your trust drops a little lower. You stop bringing things up. You start managing your own feelings quietly. You start deciding that some things are not worth saying. You start feeling like you are in a relationship with a comedian, not a partner. And the comedian is great. Everyone thinks he is great. You think he's great, but you are lonely. You are so lonely. This is the cost of the deflection. It is efficient. It requires almost no energy to derail a serious conversation with a well-placed joke, and it gives him complete control. But it also costs him everything that matters. The person who never lets themselves be known also never gets to be known. They stay funny and they stay lonely. They stay admired and they stay unknown. They trade revelation for approval. They are performing for their life. And the joke, the thing that makes him so charming, the thing that made you fall for him in the first place, is the same thing that will keep him from ever truly being loved. There is research on this. Psychologists have studied the correlation between humor use during conflict discussions and long-term relationship satisfaction. The findings are consistent. Couples where one partner uses humor to deflect conflict report significantly lower satisfaction over time. Not because the humor is bad, because the deflection replaces resolution. The joke lands, the tension drops, and nothing changes. The problem remains. The resentment grows. The gap widens. And eventually, the gap becomes permanent. The study measured more than just satisfaction. They looked at patterns of reattempt. When the deflected topic is brought up again, the partner who uses humor feels attacked. They feel criticized. They feel like nothing they do is ever good enough. They feel like the other person just wants to fight. And they deflect again, faster this time, sharper. The joke comes harder. The laugh is thinner. And the cycle continues. The cycle is the relationship. The cycle is the love. The cycle is a closed loop with no exit. This is what you are up against. Not a man who does not love you. A man who has learned that his only acceptable self is a funny self. A man who has learned that vulnerability is weakness. A man who has learned that the moment he stops performing, he stops being valuable. He does not know how to be anything else. He does not know how to just be. And he will not learn from you asking nicely. He will not learn from you crying. He will not learn from you leaving. He will learn only if he decides he wants to know who he actually is. And that decision cannot be made for him. But here is the reframe. The joke is not the problem. The joke is the symptom of a deeper belief. The belief that he is only acceptable when he is entertaining. The belief that his real self is not enough. The belief that if you really knew him, you would leave. So he makes sure you never really know him. He keeps you at a distance he controls. A distance that feels close because it is warm. A distance that feels intimate because it is funny. A distance that is measured in inches and that might as well be 1,000 miles. And you are not broken for wanting more. You are not asking for a different person. You are asking to meet the person who is already there and who has never shown up. You are asking for a conversation that does not need a punchline to survive. You are asking for permission to be real without being ridiculed. You are asking for the same thing everyone asks for. To be seen. To be known. To be told that you are enough. And to believe it. So here's the question you need to sit with. Not what is wrong with him. Not what is wrong with you. The question is this: what are you willing to accept in the name of not being alone? Because that is what this comes down to. The laughter is real. The love is real. The loneliness is also real. And you have been treating the loneliness like a price you have to pay for the laughter. But that price keeps getting higher, and the laughter keeps getting thinner. And one day you will realize that you have paid everything and you have received nothing that cannot be replaced by a sitcom. This is not about leaving him. This is not about staying. This is about understanding what is actually happening so you can make a choice with your eyes open. He is not avoiding you. He is avoiding himself. He is avoiding the question he has never been able to answer. Who am I when no one is watching? He does not know. He has never had to know. He has always had an audience, and you have always been the audience. But you do not have to stay in that seat. You do not have to keep laughing. You do not have to keep pretending that the punchline is the same as the truth. You can stop. You can say what you need to say. You can refuse to let the joke land. You can sit in the silence and let it be uncomfortable, and you can watch what happens. Does he finally speak, show you who he is, or find another way out? And when you have your answer, you will have everything you need. Not to fix him, to know what you are standing next to, and whether you can stand there forever. If this hit close to home, drop a comment. Tell me about the time you brought up something real and got a joke instead. Tell me what you did next. Did you laugh? Did you push? Did you stop trying? You are not the only one in that room, and I think you already knew that.